So as you can see in the title, Bishop T.D. Jakes' issues have just grown wide. And so I'm going to show you a piece of content that Larry Reid just actually shared on his stream talking about T.D. Jakes. And we're going to talk about that and what he presented, some portion of DMs and how they suggest a certain thinking that I have questions about. Even me, when I look at them, I'm like, yeah, this is very concerning. I don't know what, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to think about that. And so we're going to talk about those particular DMs that he had actually shown. It's the Reality Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, to be sure to check out some other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to check you out over there. On this particular video, I'm just going to be illustrating some of the things that are said in the DMs or in those particular DMs. Like, for instance, if you see this picture, you might not think of anything of it. This is a picture that Larry Reid showed in the video where he is particularly dealing with very suspect or very scary things that might have been happening between Bishop T.D. Jakes and Prophet Manasseh Jordan. Okay? When he was supposedly supposed to be mentoring him, and there were some groomizations and all those type of things, which is the idea of they do something that looks like mentorship, while it has the intention of, you understand, we don't need to be going over there. And so where are the concerns in it? So if you saw that particular picture, you might say, you know, I don't see much in that, or I don't see anything wrong in that particular picture that you see up there. Now, you don't see anything wrong with that particular picture. It is only when it is attached to the message that went with it that it becomes actually concerning, because this is how the message was actually sent out. This is what it looked like in the DMs. But if I get myself out of the way, you will see that the bishop says, thinking of you. So he was thinking of him. He was thinking of Manasseh Jordan, which is the son of Prophet Bernard Jordan. Okay, I showed that in the previous video. Now, I did also mention that when Larry Reid says there's something that's a bit, it becomes concerning, because I've watched the guy for a very long time, and I'm telling you, when he says there's something, and because he does have a side of him that has studied law, right? And so I don't know if he dropped out, or I don't know if he did go through with the studies, but never thinking. But he does have an aspect of the law where he knows when something is criminal. And when he presented this part of the DMs, I bet he's showing this part of the DMs to just say there is more to it. And this is some of the things that I've seen. He says that he took a few pictures. In this particular stream, he only showed 3 pictures, okay? And this was one of them, as you see. I was just screenshotting it. And so I'm going to leave the video in the description where he shows his whole thing and so forth. Now, I've said Larry does these things, or he talks about this particular subject within the tone of, you know, the conversation, just the conversation, whether it be for black people being included in the church or whatnot. He does talk for that a little bit. And so he's a little bit more forgiving. For us, we have a very extreme harsh judgment because the church is like that. Now, before I show you the next part of the thing, there's a verse that I want to read for you. But I'm going to show you the next part of those DMs that becomes very concerning. Is that, so now you've seen the message that went with the picture, being it that in there he shows himself in a very sus picture, which Larry did actually make a comparison to the picture that was there when Eddie Long was having his troubles. You'll remember that Eddie Long was there flexing his muscles as a way of attracting the young people that he was talking to and so forth and all that. And so that picture of Eddie Long was actually compared alongside thing. And the comparison didn't just end there. He pointed out there was a TikTok video that actually showed the video of Jake's response to this whole thing and the video that actually came out of Eddie Long to 2013 when he was responding the first time to the allegations of him being Mandem, part of the WhatsApp group of the flag people. Very similar. The idea of, I'm going to be like a David to the Goliath, I'm going to fight, I'm going to, it's the same thinking. It's the same idea that you see in that video once you actually listen to it. But then there is a second portion of those messages that I might have flicked through right there. And so you will notice that in these messages, or in this part of the messages, which, remember, Larry is trying to show this particular idea of the grooming, or TD Jakes' extent of the relationship, or what he was doing in the relationship between him and Manasseh Jordan, by showing things that are not incriminating. He said there were other snapshots, but he's not going to show those ones. He's only going to show these particular ones. And here, showing this grooming, how does he go about it? He shows a portion where Manasseh was now being suspect of how TD is handling their communication. And Jakes was now starting to spot it, and he was now asking, how, Chief, it's been time, we're not talking, and all that. And so, wagwan, is everything Gucci? Because he had not been answering, because he was now suspect of what was being said. And so, if you go back into the conversation of what Manasseh did mention last time, is that, or what was mentioned by Larry Reid when he was talking to Manasseh, he said that TD started expressing this idea of being attracted to things. That's what Larry actually pointed out. He said that he didn't show those parts of the messages, but he showed us, because he did mention, as I stated, that he was only showing the lighter version of these messages. He's not showing the stuff that's a bit incriminating, according to how he laid out this particular conversation. And so when you go to this picture here, where the picture is posted, if you actually look at the picture, you will notice, TD Jakes' fist is a little bit balded up there, so that he can show the muscles. He's balding up that fist so that the muscles can show, man, them must appear a certain way. Now, I don't know how people of the flag attract each other. I don't know. I don't know how that works over there. And so I guess this is the thing, because you'd remember, even with the Eddie Long, it was the same. Is that there was that appeal of muscular, being strong and stuff like that, and that was the presentation that was there. But then if you couple that with the message saying, I'm thinking of you, it now makes sense. It's now a bit, it's like, heaven, what's going on here? What am I dealing with? Because now it's like, okay, why does that point come in of I'm thinking of you after posting a picture like that? It becomes concern. That's my concern. Now, the verse that I said I wanted to read you guys is a verse that comes straight out of oh my goodness, I hope the YouTube algorithm does not pick up the song that these kids are playing outside. It's a verse that comes from Galatians chapter number 6. And Galatians chapter number 6, verse 1 and 2. You can read it all the way down to 5. But in the few early verses, okay, forgive if you can hear them. They just came out. Jeez. He says, brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself. We consider the state of humans and the capability of doing error. But that's with a reason. When I consider myself, I consider that the person must be able to see the wrong. Okay? And then he says, bear one another's burdens, and so fulfilling the law of Christ. So the law of love is, I am able to note that this might be an error, or it might be a mistake or something. The TikTok thing that's been happening, or the accusations that he's been there are footage of him doing whatnot, there's no evidence for that. Okay? But now we have been provided evidence of conversations which are dodgy, man, which are questionable. Why was that? Now remember, he said that there were other messages. He only showed the messages that he thought, they are not legal heavy, okay, at this point. And he keeps using the term predatory in the messages, implying that the ones that he saw outside of these ones are worse. Okay? And so here he was only showing what he is. I think, as I stated, Larry tends to be a little bit leaning towards this man, thems and stuff. So the person must be able to note the wrong. Because if the person does not note the wrong, you are creating a predator for yourself, because that person will forever be in the wrong, will forever continue and persist in wrongdoing. When they don't repent or they don't recognize the wrong, it creates a problem, not just for you, but also for other people. Okay? And so he says, for if a man think himself to be something, so if a person holding their status up think that is superior idea, because you, like some of these people from Ghana and Nigeria who are out there saying, you know, how are Christians looking at TDJs like this, it's because they have errors themselves. So they would rather not see the error or correct the error of TDJs if there is an error. They would just rather look over it because they themselves are guilty of something. And so in this particular state, that doesn't mean we do not correct or we do not call out. People that think that are dodgy. You dodge, all of you are dodge, all of you. I saw all these videos that were coming out. We're not going to address any particular, you know yourselves. If you were out there busy defending when you didn't have proof yourself, okay, use dodgy, okay? Forgiveness is handed when a person, particularly, yes, you can forgive someone who is unrepentant, but do not show them as if they are repentant, okay? I can say I'm forgiving to that person, but I cannot pretend as if that person has acknowledged the wrong. It creates a problem, okay? That's why you have people who are abusive in their relationships and so forth, and they blame the victim for their abuse because they say, you see, you made me do this. No, you have not acknowledged your wrong. As a result, the person goes back and does it again. So he says what? Let any man, if he thinks he's something, let him think, or else he deceives himself, the verse says. Then verse number 4, but let every man prove his own work. So if there is such a deed, there was deederizations that were of such a nature. It is there busy flexing his muscles and showing himself otherwise and all that kind of stuff. Only he knows why he was flexing over there. Only he knows what was going on and what he was trying to portray when he did that. What witness do you bear of your work, Papa? So that's why I'm saying, if you wanted to note, is what Ricky is saying, whole. Truthful, yes. This is what the thinking is. The verse says, let every man hold up his work. Then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone. He rejoices in himself alone. He doesn't have to brag to us about how good he is because he knows. People that keep elevating a certain area of right, there is the dodgy part of them that they know very well. If it was to come out, it would be very suspect. Yeah, people, those type of things. People that elevate how right they are on a certain topic, on one particular thing. And I'm talking about doctrine. I'm talking about moral behavior. On doctrine, yes, you must be upright doctrinally. What's wrong with you? I'm talking about morally. When a person upholds how morally upright they are. Me, I don't take bribes. What do you do? What area in finance do you have that is not right? Okay? Me, I'm not sexually immoral. What area are you? Because it always highlights a certain, like holiness churches, okay? They uphold the law. They will refuse you on grace. They will refuse you on everything. They uphold the law. Why? Because some of these people, they grew up in families where they hated their parents because their parents were extremely judgmental over how behavior should be. So they tend to grow up very rigid. And as a result, they apply that within what they call their Christian walk. So certain people, they are not rigid because they are rigid because there is an area of their life that's completely off. When a person is balanced biblically, you will hear it. Okay? So that's what the verse is saying. The verse says, when you consider yourself, you are able to prove your work and you'll be able to be rejoiceful in yourself. That's what I mean when Chief Jakes was saying, I know myself in that video where he was responding with the red jacket. I was like, why was he saying that so many times? That's very suspect. It's off. It's offish. Why? Because why do you have to tell me? What are you trying to convince me of by saying you know yourself? So to me, that came off a little bit of a certain way. And then he says, for every man shall bear his own burden. That's verse number 5. Verse number 5 of Galatians chapter number 5, from 1 up until 5. You will see exactly the way. So we are forgiving. We are a forgiving church because we consider that man can err. The TikTok thing, there is no proof. But then there is this here which has been provided, and they are saying, and listen, the danger of rejecting or making it look as if he's innocent or responding in a tone of innocence, it will piss off these people. These people will expose you. Let us tell you. Look at Bishop Zondo, a perfect example. Bishop Zondo, whom TJ was posing with the other time. Bishop Zondo is an example of that. The more bragging he became about how innocent he was, the more it enraged the people he has done wrong. They came out in their droves. You've seen them. I'm going to highlight the other ones that are coming out. Same mentality. Why? Because they elevate how right they are. And they want to look so innocent, and they go out there. It pisses off the people you've wronged. And when those people come out, they come out with a vengeance. And so should Jakes want to keep pressing the buttons? I'm telling you now, if Jakes keeps pressing the buttons, when he was there talking about innocence and what, and he knows himself, you see, now we have DMs. We didn't have DMs. It was just the TikTok thing, which we all could hear that this is just gossip. There's nothing there. He responded with that arrogance. When he responded with the arrogance, now we have DMs. We did not have DMs before. We did not have people scrutinizing before until you respond with a certain level of arrogance. It creates an environment where people are coming out and saying, excuse me, let me put you at right. So actually I did show with daily Christian commentary videos. Wanted to just make this video just to kind of like highlight. I'm actually shooting this video for the second time because the first time I actually shot it, I was just looking at the video. It was just a little bit too heavy. I shot it in too high of a quality. And so I was like, you know what? Let me shoot it down without having to scale the video down. Because scaling videos, it can actually cause the video to fringe in the middle and stuff like that. And so there is a biblical way we handle things. Pastor Lwan, the right way is the same. What I'm saying here is the same thing that I said on Makamu's topic. When that pastor went to Makamu's church and he was there vindicating the man had never acknowledged wrong. Makamu had never acknowledged wrong. He said he was fetching keys. What keys? Okay, do we look like keys to you? That absolutely pisses me off. You can get away with that on your responses with my bishop and so forth, but you cannot fool me. I'm an adult. You can't tell me you were fetching keys. Why do you need to beg for your keys, for the keys of your office? Don't think we are kids here. So it's things like that. When I talk about Makamu, I'm talking about things like that because I've seen he has an unrepentant nature. About motivational speakers, you see, motivational speakers, they're the same, even to the Jakes. Motivational speaker, you see what happens? Because they don't understand the gospel. They tend to be people that don't understand. We forgive, we speak about things, we move on. You will only piss the people that you've pissed off. There are pastors out here, we should just tell you, we have people that want to talk about you. We just kind of like, can't tell, make sure the person is fine. We keep things flat, we keep things. But if they were to speak, you'll be damaged. And then you are there busy hitting your chest. You are there hitting your chest. You only piss off the people that. So if Jakes continues speaking, the fact that Larry showed the message, he said he showed messages that didn't have any criminal implication. But he mentioned that there were other messages that are very criminal in nature. So the message that he showed of you there busy flexing muscles and then saying, I'm thinking about you, that was a lighter message. There is messages that are worse, he said. So if he even touches on this topic, if TJ goes back, I want to respond. Prepare for manifest. And that was the name of his show. Prepare for manifest. Because they will show those messages. You can see now, you've already provoked. We didn't know that there were messages. We thought maybe there was something else, maybe there's messages. And according to Larry Reid, there is a computer that has all the details. So he hasn't deleted, he has kept that particular thing, and the messages are there intact. Should he respond with an ounce of arrogance, Baba, they will scrape the floor with you. By speaking in such a talk, because why? Because they don't understand. You see all these people that do people wrong, run around doing funny things. They don't understand the nature in which people. So I'm just stating, should he respond any funny way? This is Opuminda. Then, Lord Kwali Paget. A packet will be full. Lord Kwali Paget now. Ricky, we're done here.